The warning lights flashed red across the control room of Deep Space Repair Station Delta 7. Tom Miller wiped the sweat from his forehead as he looked up at the main screen. After 20 years of working as chief engineer, he thought he had seen everything. He was wrong. "Sir, you need to see this," said Jack, his assistant, pointing at the radar display. "That's not a human ship's energy signature." Through the massive observation window, they watched as a ship twice the size of an Earth cargo vessel limped toward their station. Its sleek, silver hull was scarred with black marks, and a trail of bright blue plasma leaked from its damaged engine section. The ship's design was unlike anything they had seen before, all smooth curves and strange angles that seemed to defy normal engineering logic. "Get the emergency crews ready," Tom ordered, reaching for his tablet. "And someone tell me how an alien warship found its way to our little repair station in the middle of nowhere." The station's crew rushed to their positions. Most had never seen an alien ship up close before. Humanity had only joined the galactic community 3 years ago, and most alien vessels preferred their own automated repair stations. The damaged ship's communication system crackled to life. A holographic image appeared on the main screen, showing a tall, humanoid figure with metallic blue skin and 4 eyes. "This is Captain Rex of the Centaurian Defense Force vessel Star Piercer. We request emergency docking and repairs." Tom stepped forward. "This is Chief Engineer Miller of Delta 7. We're a human repair station, Captain. The nearest Centaurian automated facility is in the Proxima system. We've already tried their automated systems," the alien captain interrupted, his voice tight with frustration. "Our damage is unusual. The repair robots couldn't understand the problem. We've heard humans still fix things with their hands. Is this true?" A small smile crossed Tom's face. When humanity joined the galactic community, many species had laughed at their primitive repair methods. Most advanced races had switched to fully automated repair systems centuries ago. But Tom had always believed there was value in understanding how things worked at the most basic level. "That's correct, Captain. We do things the old-fashioned way here." Tom checked the initial scans of the alien vessel. "Your plasma containment field is failing. We can handle that. Bring her in slow to Dock 4. The massive alien warship carefully maneuvered into position. As the docking clamps engaged, Tom and his team suited up. The station's artificial gravity adjusted to match Centaurian standard, making them feel slightly lighter as they walked. "Remember," Tom briefed his crew as they approached the airlock, "we've never worked on Centaurian technology before. Take it slow, observe everything, and don't assume anything works the way our systems do." The airlock cycled, and they entered the alien ship. The corridors were filled with a thin, sweet-smelling mist, part of the Centaurian life support system. Captain Rex met them personally, towering over the human repair crew. The damage occurred during an encounter with space pirates, Rex explained, leading them to the engine room. Their weapons used some kind of electromagnetic pulse. Our self-repair systems have been trying to fix the wrong problems. Tom nodded as he studied the alien engine. Though the technology was advanced, the basic principles of power generation and plasma containment weren't so different from human designs. He could see where the automated systems had gone wrong. They were trying to repair the superficial damage while missing the real problem. "Your automated systems are too sophisticated," Tom said, pulling out his diagnostic tools. "They're looking for complex solutions when the real issue is simple. Look here." He pointed to what appeared to be a hairline crack in one of the plasma conduits. "Your self-repair systems read this as normal wear and tear, but it's actually affecting the entire containment field's geometry." Captain Rex's 4 eyes widened in surprise. "Can you fix it?" Tom grinned, reaching for his tools. "Captain, there's an old saying on Earth. Sometimes the best way to understand a problem is to get your hands dirty. Give us 6 hours. We'll have you back in space by then." As his crew got to work, Tom couldn't help but feel a sense of pride. Maybe humanity's primitive ways weren't so primitive after all. Sometimes, The oldest solutions were still the best ones. Tom's hands moved steadily as he worked on the damaged plasma conduit of the Centaurian warship. The alien metal felt warm under his fingers, almost like it was alive. Around him, his repair crew worked in focused silence, each handling different parts of the complex engine system. "Pass me the plasma sealant," Tom called out to Jack, who quickly handed him a container of the special compound they used for high-temperature repairs. The standard human tools looked almost primitive next to the sleek Centaurian technology, but they were getting the job done. Captain Rex watched from nearby, all four of his eyes focused intently on their work. "I don't understand," he said after a while. "Why don't you use repair robots? Every other species in the galaxy abandoned manual repairs centuries ago." Tom carefully applied the sealant to the crack in the conduit. "Because robots can only do what they're programmed to do," he explained. "They can't think outside the box, can't feel the way a machine works. Sometimes you need human intuition to solve a problem." As if to prove his point, a warning light suddenly flashed on the engine control panel. The crack they were fixing had caused a chain reaction in another part of the system. The automated repair protocols immediately activated, but their solutions were making things worse. "Shut off the auto repair," Tom shouted, quickly moving to the new problem area. "It's trying to reinforce the wrong section. Look here, the energy flow is creating a feedback loop." The alien captain quickly disabled his ship's automated systems. Tom pulled out an old-fashioned pressure gauge, attaching it to the troubled section. Sometimes the simplest tools gave the clearest answers. "Your advanced sensors are actually too sensitive," Tom explained, watching the gauge's needle move. "They're picking up thousands of tiny variations and trying to fix them all at once. But the real problem is basic fluid dynamics. The plasma flow is unstable because of the structural damage." Jack brought over their portable welding unit, modified to work with alien metals. "Just like that broken pipe in the station's cooling system last month," he said, understanding what Tom was getting at. "Exactly," Tom nodded. "The principle is the same, even if the technology is different. Fluid is fluid, pressure is pressure, whether it's water or plasma." The repair crew worked steadily for the next 4 hours, fixing not just the original damage, but several other issues they discovered. The Centaurian crew watched in amazement as the humans used a combination of their own tools and modified alien equipment to solve problems that had stumped their most advanced diagnostic systems. "This is remarkable," said the Centaurian engineer, watching Tom test the repaired systems. "Our automated facilities would have spent weeks trying to analyze the damage pattern. You humans just saw the problem." Tom smiled as he checked the final readings. "That's because we still believe in learning how things work from the ground up. Every engineer on this station starts by fixing simple machines, understanding basic principles. When you know the fundamentals, you can figure out any system, no matter how advanced." The engine room hummed with healthy energy now, the plasma containment field stable and strong. The previous damage was barely visible, sealed under layers of carefully applied repairs. "Run your diagnostic check," Tom told Captain Rex. "Should be back to full power now." The alien captain activated his ship's computer. Screens lit up with data as the system analyzed the repairs. All four of his eyes widened in surprise. "This is better than factory specifications," he said in disbelief. "The efficiency ratings are higher than when the ship was new. How is this possible?" Tom packed up his tools, gesturing to the engine. "We didn't just fix the damage. We saw how your system could be improved. Added some reinforcement here, adjusted the flow patterns there. Sometimes a fresh perspective helps." As the repair crew prepared to leave, Captain Rex stopped Tom. "You know," the alien said thoughtfully, "when we first detected your repair station, some of my crew thought it was a mistake to trust our ship to. What did they call it? Primitive human methods." Tom grinned. "And now?" "Now," Rex said, "I think we may have discovered something the galaxy has been missing for a long time. The value of understanding how things truly work, not just how to program them." The Centaurian ship departed an hour later, its engines running smoother than ever. As Tom watched it disappear into the darkness of space, he couldn't help but wonder if this was just the beginning of something much bigger. 3 weeks after the Centaurian warship's departure, Deep Space Repair Station Delta 7 was busier than ever. Tom stood in the control room, looking at the growing line of alien ships waiting for repairs. The station's communication system hadn't stopped buzzing with requests since Captain Rex left. Another one just dropped out of faster-than-light travel, Jack reported, checking the radar. Looks like a crystal merchant vessel. Their whole navigation array is dark. Tom rubbed his tired eyes. In the past weeks, they'd seen more alien ships than in the entire previous year. The Centaurians had spread word about the human repair station through subspace channels, and now it seemed like every species in this sector wanted to try the primitive but effective human repair methods. Put them in the queue, Tom said, studying the current situation. Dock 2 has that Blue Star freighter with engine problems. Dock 4 is handling the living ship from the Vine Collective, and Dock 1 just started work on the damaged transport vessel. The living ship had been their biggest challenge yet. It was a bioorganic vessel, more like a giant space-dwelling creature than a traditional spacecraft. Its repairs were more like surgery than engineering, but Tom's team had adapted, using their knowledge of basic biology alongside their engineering skills. Chief called Mary from her station. The Crystal Merchant captain is asking for emergency priority. Says their life support systems will fail in 10 hours if they don't get repairs. Tom immediately switched his attention to the new arrival. The Crystal Merchant ships were beautiful but notoriously complex. Their hulls were made of living crystal that could be damaged by the wrong repair approach. Clear Dock 3, he ordered. Tell the crystal ship they can dock in 20 minutes, and get Bill from maintenance up here. He used to be a geologist. We're going to need his expertise. As the crystal ship made its careful approach, Tom gathered his repair team. Remember, he briefed them, these ships are partially sentient. The crystal responds to vibrations and temperature changes. We treat it more like a living thing than a machine. The ship docked with a gentle chiming sound, its crystalline structure reflecting the station's lights in rainbow patterns. The ship's captain, a tall being that seemed to be made of translucent crystal himself, met them at the airlock. Our automated repair stations couldn't help, the captain said, his voice creating musical tones in the air. They said our navigation crystal's damage was too severe for standard protocols. Tom and his team followed the captain through corridors that seemed to be carved from pure diamond. The navigation center was a massive crystal chamber, with a spider web of cracks running through its main control crystal. Well, this is different, Jack whispered, staring at the damaged crystal. The automated repair systems had tried to fix it by growing new crystal layers, but that had only trapped the cracks underneath, making them worse. Tom studied the problem, thinking back to his basic geology classes. It's like a flawed gemstone, he said finally. We need to carefully cut away the damaged sections before we can start repairs. Bill, what do you think? Bill stepped forward, his geology background proving invaluable. If we use ultrasonic vibrations at just the right frequency, we can separate the damaged crystal along its natural cleavage planes. Then we can help it regrow correctly. The Crystal Merchant captain seemed skeptical but desperate enough to try. For the next 6 hours, the repair team worked carefully, combining Bill's knowledge of crystal formation with Tom's engineering expertise. They used modified sonic tools to carefully remove the damaged crystal, then created a perfect environment for new growth. As they worked, Tom noticed something interesting. The crystal isn't just cracked, he said, it's been growing wrong for years. Your automated systems kept adding layers without fixing the underlying structure. Is that why our navigation has been less accurate lately? The captain asked, surprised. Tom nodded. Once we fix this, you'll probably find your ship performs better than it has in a long time. Sure enough, when they finished, the navigation crystal gleamed with new clarity. The captain ran a test, and his crystalline features lit up with joy at the results. "The accuracy is double what it used to be," he exclaimed. "How did you know how to fix living crystal?" Tom smiled, wiping his hands on his work cloth. "Sometimes the best way to fix advanced technology is to understand the basic science behind it. Crystal growth follows the same rules, whether it's in a rock or a spaceship." As the crystal merchant ship departed, Tom looked at his growing list of waiting vessels. Word was definitely spreading, and humanity's reputation for fixing the unfixable was growing with it. The emergency alarm blared through Delta 7 station, its urgent sound jolting Tom awake from his short rest break. He rushed to the control room, still pulling on his work jacket. "What's the situation?" he asked, seeing his entire team already gathered around the main display screen. "Massive refugee fleet incoming," Jack reported, his face pale. "Their sun went supernova without warning. 57 ships, all damaged from the radiation blast. Their automated repair stations turned them away. Said the damage was too extensive for standard protocols." Tom looked at the scanner readings. The refugee ships were limping toward them, their systems failing one by one. Most were civilian vessels never designed for long space travel. He could see hundreds of warning signs flashing across the diagnostic displays. "How many people?" Tom asked quietly. "Over 8,000, Mary answered. "Mostly families. Their life support systems are critically damaged. Engineers on their home world estimated they have less than 20 hours before total system failure." Tom took a deep breath. The station normally handled 3 or 4 ships at a time. Taking on 57 damaged vessels seemed impossible, but those 8,000 lives depended on them finding a way. "Open all communication channels," he ordered. "Get me in touch with every ship captain. And call in every off-duty engineer and maintenance worker. We're going to need everyone." The next few minutes were a blur of activity. The station's holographic display filled with the faces of desperate alien captains, each reporting critical damage to their vessels. Their species had always relied on automated systems, and now those same systems were failing them when they needed them most. "Listen carefully," Tom addressed the gathered captains. "We can't repair all your ships individually. There's not enough time. But we can try something that's never been done before. We're going to link your ships together and create a shared life support network." The captains looked skeptical, but they had no choice. As the first ships began docking, Tom divided his crew into teams. Each had a specific task in his desperate plan. "Mary, take Team 1 and start setting up power transfer conduits between the ships. Jack, get Team 2 working on converting Dock 5 into a temporary atmospheric processing plant. Bill, your team needs to modify our station's shields to protect these ships from further radiation damage." The work was intense. They had to modify incompatible systems, create new interfaces between different alien technologies, and keep thousands of frightened refugees calm. Every engineer on the station worked nonstop, their hands moving quickly but carefully as they raced against time. "We've got the first power link established," Mary called out 6 hours later. 10 ships are now sharing life support." Tom nodded, his hands deep in the wiring of a makeshift atmospheric converter. They were using parts from every ship, creating a hybrid system that would have horrified traditional engineers. But it was working. Their automated repair stations couldn't handle this because they couldn't think creatively, Tom explained to Jack as they rushed to another failing system. "They can only follow pre-programmed solutions, but sometimes you need to break all the rules to save lives." Hour after hour, they worked. Engineers crawled through maintenance tubes, scaled the outside of hulls in spacesuits, and rebuilt entire systems from scratch. They used spare parts from one species' ships to fix another's, finding ways to make incompatible technologies work together. With just 2 hours left before the original deadline, Tom stood in the control room, watching the final connections being made. The 57 ships had been transformed into one interconnected web, sharing power, life support, and resources. "Life support stabilizing across all vessels," Mary reported, her voice tired but happy. "Atmospheric levels are normal. Power distribution is holding steady. A cheer went up from the exhausted crew. They had done it, found a way to save 8,000 lives by throwing away the rulebook and relying on pure human ingenuity. The main screen lit up with the faces of the refugee captains. One of them, his eyes glistening with tears, spoke for all of them. We had heard humans could fix anything, but this is beyond fixing. You've created something entirely new, something our most advanced systems said was impossible. Tom looked at his tired but proud crew. That's because we don't let computers tell us what's impossible, he said. When lives are at stake, humans find a way. We always do. As the refugee fleet settled into its temporary but stable configuration around Delta 7, Tom knew this crisis would change everything. The galaxy was about to learn that sometimes the best solutions came not from advanced automation, but from human hearts and hands, working together. 2 days after saving the refugee fleet, Tom stood in Delta 7's main engineering lab, surrounded by alien technology from dozens of different species. Parts and pieces from the refugee ships were spread across several workbenches, each telling its own story of survival and adaptation. "Look at this," he said to his team, holding up a power converter from one of the refugee vessels. Their automated systems said this was beyond repair. But what if we could make it better than new? The crisis had taught them something important. By combining technologies from different species with human engineering principles, they could create systems that worked better than the originals. It was time to put that knowledge to use. "Mary, remember how we linked those incompatible life support systems?" Tom asked, sketching a design on his tablet. "What if we could make that permanent? Create a new type of system that adapts to any ship?" The engineering team gathered around as Tom explained his idea. They had learned more about alien technology in the past 3 days than in the 3 years since Earth joined the galactic community. Now it was time to use that knowledge. The automated repair stations fail because they can only work with one type of technology at a time, Jack said, understanding where Tom was going with this. "But we can see how different systems can work together." Tom nodded. "Exactly. We're going to create hybrid repair techniques. Take the best parts of each species' technology and combine them with good old-fashioned human know-how." The next 12 hours were a blur of activity. Engineers worked in pairs, testing different combinations of technology. They discovered that crystal merchant power crystals could enhance Centaurian plasma containment fields. Living ship bioorganic materials could self-heal when combined with human-designed support structures. "Chief," Bill called out excitedly, "you need to see this. We modified a standard human welding torch with crystal merchant focusing crystals. It can repair living ship hull material without damaging the organic components." Tom watched as Bill demonstrated the new tool. The crystal-focused energy beam sealed a tear in the living material perfectly, encouraging it to regrow stronger than before. It was just one of many innovations they were developing. The refugee captains, still docked at the station while their ships underwent full repairs, watched these developments with growing interest. One of them, Captain Larn, approached Tom with a proposal. "Our species has always depended on automated systems," Larn said. "But what you humans have shown us, it's revolutionary. Would you be willing to teach some of our people these repair techniques?" Tom looked at the alien captain thoughtfully. "Better idea," he said. "Let's learn from each other. Your people can teach us about your technology, and we'll teach you our repair methods. Everyone benefits." The idea spread quickly through the refugee fleet. Soon, the station's repair bays became impromptu classrooms. Human engineers taught alien crews about manual repair techniques while learning about advanced technologies in return. "See how the crystal matrix responds to sonic harmonics," a crystal merchant engineer explained to Mary, while she showed him how to use basic diagnostic tools to find flaws in the structure. In another bay, Jack was teaching a group of alien engineers about welding techniques while they explained how their bioorganic circuits worked. The exchange of knowledge was creating new solutions nobody had thought possible before. Tom walked through the station, watching these interactions with pride. In 1 week, they had not only saved thousands of lives, but were also revolutionizing how repairs were done in space. The automated repair stations almost seem primitive now, Jack commented as they reviewed the day's progress. They can only do what they're programmed for. But this combination of human skills and alien technology, the possibilities are endless. Tom picked up their latest invention, a diagnostic tool that combined human intuitive design with alien scanning technology. It could identify problems across multiple types of systems and suggest repair solutions that no single species would have thought of alone. "This is just the beginning," Tom said, watching human and alien engineers working side by side. "We're not just fixing ships anymore. We're creating something new, a way of doing repairs that takes the best of both worlds, advanced technology and human ingenuity." As he looked at the busy repair bays, Tom knew they had started something that would change space travel forever. The galaxy was about to learn that the best solutions came not from choosing between automation and manual skills, but from finding ways to use both together. The refugee crisis had forced them to innovate, but what they created would help countless ships and crews in the future. Sometimes, the greatest advances came from the most challenging moments. 3 months after the refugee crisis, Deep Space Repair Station Delta 7 looked very different. Tom walked through the newly expanded corridors, passing groups of human and alien engineers working together. What had started as emergency repairs had grown into something much bigger. "Chief," Jack called out, waving from one of the new training rooms. The crystal merchants just arrived with their first group of engineering students. Tom entered the room to find 20 young crystal merchants, their crystalline forms catching the light. They were part of the station's new engineering exchange program, where different species sent their people to learn human repair techniques. "Welcome to Delta 7, Tom addressed the group. "You're here because your people have realized something important, that combining different approaches to engineering makes us all stronger." The station now had 4 new wings dedicated to teaching and learning. In one section, human engineers studied the complex crystal-based technology of the merchant ships. In another, aliens learned the basics of human mechanical repair techniques. "Watch this," Mary said excitedly, demonstrating to a group of Centaurian engineers. She was teaching them how to diagnose engine problems by sound and vibration. Sometimes your hands and ears can tell you things that sensors miss. The aliens watched in amazement as she correctly identified a misaligned power coupling, just by touching the housing and listening to its hum. It was a skill that couldn't be programmed into repair robots, but could be taught to anyone willing to learn. In the next bay, a living ship engineer was showing humans how their bioorganic systems worked. "The ship feels pain," the alien explained, connecting human diagnostic tools to the living hull. "If you learn to understand its signals, you can heal it better than any automated system." Tom stopped to watch a particularly interesting session. Bill, still using his geology background, was working with crystal merchant engineers to develop new repair techniques for their ships. They had discovered that human understanding of crystal formation, combined with alien technology, created stronger and more efficient systems. "The crystal responds differently to human touch," one of the alien engineers noted, watching Bill carefully reshape a damaged navigation crystal. "Our automated systems never considered that physical contact could affect the growth patterns." The station's reputation had grown so much that they now had a waiting list of species wanting to send their engineers for training. Even races that had previously looked down on primitive human methods were requesting spots in the program. "Chief," Jack called out again, "you need to see this. The Vine Collective engineers we've been working with just made a breakthrough." Tom hurried to the research lab where human and Vine Collective engineers had been studying biomechanical integration. They had created a new type of repair system that combined living tissue with mechanical components, allowing ships to partially heal themselves while still being serviceable by hand. "It's beautiful," Tom said, examining their work. "This could revolutionize spacecraft design, the perfect balance between natural systems and engineered solutions." The success of Delta 7's program had caught the attention of the galactic community. Other human repair stations were starting similar exchange programs, creating a network of learning centers across space. Later that day, Tom sat in his office, looking at messages from across the galaxy. There were thank you notes from the refugee fleet, now safely settled on a new world, requests from dozens of species wanting to join the exchange program, reports of successful repairs using their new hybrid techniques. "Did you ever think it would get this big?" Jack asked, bringing in the daily reports. Tom shook his head, smiling. "When we first started fixing alien ships, I thought we were just doing repairs. But we've created something much more important, a place where different species can learn from each other." He looked out his office window at the busy repair bays below. Humans and aliens worked side by side, sharing knowledge and skills that had been developed over centuries. The sound of tools mixing with alien languages created a strange but harmonious symphony. "The galaxy needed this," Tom said thoughtfully. "Not just the repair techniques, but the reminder that progress doesn't always mean replacing the old with the new. Sometimes it means finding ways to use both together." As he watched a young human engineer learning to work with living crystals while teaching an alien about basic welding, Tom knew they had started something that would last for generations. The future of space travel would be built not by automated systems alone, but by hands and minds working together across the stars. 5 years had passed since the first Centaurian warship limped into Delta 7. Tom stood at the station's main observation deck, watching the busy traffic around the greatly expanded facility. What had once been a simple repair station was now the largest engineering academy in this sector of space. "Annual inspection report is ready, Chief," Jack said, handing Tom a tablet. Jack's hair had grown a bit gray, just like Tom's, but his enthusiasm hadn't changed. "We're now training engineers from over 50 different species." Tom smiled as he looked at the numbers. Delta 7 had grown to 10 times its original size. The station now had 12 major docking bays, 20 training facilities, and 5 research centers. But more impressive than the physical growth was what they had achieved. "Remember when aliens used to laugh at our primitive repair methods?" Tom asked, watching a crystal merchant ship dock smoothly next to a living ship. "Now they send their best and brightest to learn from us." A group of student engineers passed by, a mix of humans and aliens heading to their morning classes. Some carried traditional tools alongside advanced alien technology, a perfect symbol of how things had changed. "Chief Miller," a young voice called out. Tom turned to see a human student, Amy, with her alien study partner, a young Centaurian. "We've been working on improving the hybrid repair system you invented during the refugee crisis." Tom followed them to their workshop, where they demonstrated their project. They had taken the original emergency solution and refined it into something extraordinary. Their new system could adapt to any type of ship, combining the best aspects of mechanical repair and automated maintenance. "The automated systems learn from human repairs," Amy explained excitedly, "and the diagnostic tools help humans understand alien technology better. They work together instead of replacing each other." In another part of the station, Tom visited the Advanced Research Lab. Here, engineers from different species worked on revolutionary projects. They had discovered that each race's approach to technology had unique strengths, and combining them led to incredible advances. "Look at this," Bill called out, showing Tom their latest invention. They had created a new type of repair drone that could work alongside human engineers. Unlike the old automated systems, these drones were designed to assist rather than replace, learning from human problem-solving skills while providing precise technical support. The station's success had changed humanity's place in the galactic community. Earth was no longer seen as a newcomer to space travel, but as a leader in engineering education. Every major spacefaring race now had engineers trained at human stations. "Message from Galaxy Central," Mary announced, bringing Tom another report. "They want to make Delta 7's training program the standard for all repair facilities in the galaxy." Tom walked through the busy corridors, remembering how it all started. That first desperate repair job on the Centaurian ship had opened the door to something much bigger. They had proven that the best solutions often came from combining different approaches rather than choosing between them. In the main repair bay, Tom stopped to watch a training session. A human instructor was teaching the basics of mechanical repair, while a crystal merchant engineer explained their technology's unique properties. The students, from various species, worked together, sharing insights from their different backgrounds. "You know what makes this place special?" Tom said to Jack as they observed the class. "It's not just about fixing ships anymore. It's about bringing people together, sharing knowledge, finding better ways to solve problems." A small ship appeared on the station's radar, sending out a distress signal. Its design was completely unknown, a new species seeking help. 5 years ago, this would have been a crisis. Now, it was an opportunity to learn and grow. "Prepare Dock 4 for emergency repairs," Tom ordered, feeling the same excitement he had felt that first day with the Centaurian ship. "And contact our xenotech specialists. Looks like we might learn something new today." As he headed to meet the new arrival, Tom passed a wall displaying the station's motto, written in dozens of alien languages alongside English: "Innovation through understanding. Progress through cooperation." The simple human repair station had evolved into something far greater, a symbol of what could be achieved when different cultures and technologies work together. As Tom watched human and alien engineers rush to help the unknown ship, he knew that this was just the beginning of a new era in space exploration. The future would be built not by machines alone, nor by any single species, but by all races working together, sharing their knowledge and skills across the stars. And it had all started with the simple human belief that sometimes the best way to fix something was to understand it with your own hands and heart.